EVE's community is really what makes the game in so many different ways. You've heard me rattle on about joining a corporation and experiencing the community camaraderie that sits at the center of so many MMORPGs, but another way in which EVE's community comes through is in the third-party tools. The EVE API isn't exactly perfect, sure, but we get access to the back end of EVE Online's data in a way that's so very unlike most live service games. Using this API access, intrepid developers have put countless hours into creating tools that it's hard to imagine the game without. Even if you're brand new to EVE and have no idea what kind of tools I'm likely to bring up in this video, there's a good chance you've interacted with them even without realizing. These are in no particular order, but it's hard not to acknowledge this as number one. So much of EVE Online's gameplay, alliance administration, even the outcome of entire wars relies on the website zKillboard. For anyone unfamiliar, zKillboard aggregates player kills and deaths either manually submitted or collected from a player or corporation director who's provided their API key to the website. This allows anyone to look through the kill and loss history of any player, corporation, or alliance, as well as filter that data with a variety of attributes included in every in-game kill report. There are actually players for whom their zKillboard is pretty much their pride and joy, and the only thing that keeps them coming back to the game. I know there's a loud minority of players who think that removing killboards entirely would be good for the game, and I think they do raise some interesting points about how those tools have affected things, but I honestly think that without the bragging rights or the number go up effect of zKillboard, we'd see less PvP than we do now, and I hope it's not controversial for me to say that that would be bad for the game. As well as bragging rights, zKillboard is a useful intel tool. Whether your motivation is in self-defense, managing risk, or the thrill of a hunt, looking up a player or group in zKillboard can give you a very strong picture of their playstyle. For example, a player in a T1 cruiser jumping into your system alone with thousands of kills, but never a single solo kill, is a lot less threatening than they might have first seemed when you saw them on D-scan from your mining barge. Similarly though, a T2 exploration frigate who has a long history of getting on kills with Black Ops battleships is probably not the plucky explorer that they might have initially seemed. The depth and sheer volume of zKillboard's data makes it the bedrock of many of the tools too. zKillboard not only collects data via EVE Online's ESI tools, but also provides an API of their own for other third-party developers, so that not everyone dealing with killmail-related data needs to make such an all-encompassing database. If you've ever seen a battle report for your alliance's war, or submitted an SRP request to your corp or alliance, there's a good chance that that data is either just raw imported from zKillboard, or at some point in the process relies on zKillboard's kill feed to function. Do you think zKillboard and killboards in general have had a negative impact on the game? Would you still play, or at least play the same way, if they were removed? Let me know in the comments section, as it's a debate that I see coming up more often lately. Intel tools are certainly nothing new, but this level of polish and aesthetic consistency with EVE's design language puts Rift a step above the rest. Rift's core functionality is in connecting your Alliance Intel chat channels via the logs generated on your computer to give you customized audible and visual reports of potential threats. I, for example, have mine set up to give me an alert noise and pop up whenever a neutral player is reported within 5 jumps of my location while I'm ratting. It also has some great features for multi-boxers, like for example playing a different alert when a faction rat starts attacking you. This information is actually gleaned directly from the game's combat log, so for players spinning multiple Ishtars while half watching Netflix, this one is for you. If you're a nullsec, the tool can also be configured with your AnsibleX jump bridge network as well as your set route API to help navigate around using the very same map that's displaying the intel you're receiving. This was a particularly big selling point to me last year, but I have to admit I am a big fan of EVE Online's new 2D in-game map, so for me it's just a nice to have at this point. Just like the in-game map though, you have filters that can be applied to help tell at a glance where is experiencing the most player kills, ratting, incursions, or contains stations with your own assets in. The asset tracker in Rift is another big bonus feature. It's definitely not as deep as something like JEVE assets, which I would highly recommend to industrialists, but it's probably beyond the needs of most other pilots. It's for that reason that JEVE assets isn't quite going to make this list, but it was definitely a close call. I've argued before that the I in PI is pretty misleading, and there's nothing really that industrial about it, and every player should take advantage of the low effort ISK available, especially in lower security spaces. Rift comes to the rescue with this too, as it gives not only real-time updates of your PI status, but actually runs predictive analysis so you can see if a planet is going to run out of storage space before it even happens. This one definitely has a reputation of appealing to the ship-fitting obsessives, but if you don't have Pyfa, I highly recommend giving it a try. Pyfa functions as a separate program for making and comparing ship fittings because the in-game fitting window is fine for a lot of things, but Pyfa's ability to simulate different skill levels, boosts, links conditions, and implants means that you aren't going to miss any of those little catches that might have been hard to spot if you just looked at the in-game statistics. A perhaps underutilized tool is also the graphing features that are built into Pyfa. These allow you to see weapon effectiveness in specific conditions, demystifying turret tracking and missile application, and nothing will ever quite compare to taking a fit out for a spin and actually seeing how it performs, but this is definitely a close second, and it's a great way to sanity check a fit before you undock and find out that it couldn't hit the broadside of a stationary barn. It's not just PvP applications either. With the addition of crit chance to mining, the maths behind yield over time has gotten a bit more complicated. There's a little more to it now than big number is better, regardless of what people who fly the Perseverance seem to think. Pyfa takes all this stuff into account and gives you an overall average per second yield, and if you mine with a booster, you can import that boosting fit and boosting implants to see exactly how that will affect your mining yield. It might surprise a few people to include this in the list, but it is a third-party tool after all. EVE University, for anyone who doesn't know, has been one of the best things for the health of EVE Online. It's a Nubro-focused alliance that focuses on training you in the game, with no obligation to stick around with them for the long term. They understand and expect you to graduate onto other corps, and I'm sure a lot of alliances have them to thank for their applicants at least having some basic knowledge of what is quite a complicated and difficult game. Now, to be fair, the wiki gets criticism for being out of date quite often, and that's a very understandable complaint. But slightly out of date and imperfect information is considerably better than the absolute information void that would exist if this wiki wasn't around. Not to mention it's a wiki after all, so if you spot something that's out of date or incorrect and it's a subject you know a lot about, you can edit and update it. Or if you just generally want to help maintain it, the EVE University wiki has a to-do list of articles that need a little bit more TLC. I spoke about this issue in my video on why industrialists often fail in EVE Online, and I think the same thing basically applies here. Unlike many games, or even many MMOs with various servers and layers, giving specific site running or ISK making advice to other players has the potential to directly affect your competition or income from said activity. This leads to a bit of an information economy where players who've worked out great strategies or tricks are disincentivized from sharing this information with others on websites like the EVE University wiki. So on the plus side, if you like exploring intricate mechanics in games and being rewarded for this experimentation, EVE is very much still full of these opportunities. Just like zKillboard, Dotlan fits neatly into a category of tools that have become so core to the EVE experience that it's easy to forget they're third-party developed. In fact, Dotlan is so liked that I'm almost certain it was a big reason for CCP's introduction of a 2D in-game map. For anyone who's not used Dotlan, it functions very much as an atlas of New Eden, allowing players to gather information about systems anywhere in the game as well as navigate to them. Probably the context you've seen it used in most is for jump drive navigation. Navigating through stargates is something the in-game tools handle reasonably well, but if you want to get from A to B in a capital ship, taking the most fuel-efficient route, only including systems with an NPC station, that's the kind of information that Dotlan can provide in seconds. Even if you don't have any specific destination in mind, it has a great tool for seeing all the systems in range for a variety of different ships, helping you make either offensive or defensive decisions where capital ships or Black Ops battleships may be involved. For nullsec pilots, it has some tools to see vulnerability windows for solve hubs, and for faction warfare pilots, it's a great way to keep an eye on the status of the warzone when you're not in-game. There are a bunch of other features that you'll spot if you browse through Dotlan, but unfortunately I'm not sure how strongly I can recommend them. The ability to see the different planet types is neat and it's never let me down so far, but the user contributed moon scan data has pretty much never been right when I've looked at it. Just like I was talking about with the EVE University wiki, there's not much incentive for people to share accurate information about resource availability like this, so it's no surprise that it's rarely accurate or perhaps even purposefully misleading. Now obviously, there's many other tools for EVE Online that I'd love to go into, and I'd be happy to make some more videos like this so that new and existing players alike can discover the tools being made by EVE's awesome third-party development community. Do you have any tools that you couldn't play EVE without? Let me know in the comments so that I can look into them for a future sequel to this video. If you want to help support the channel, consider buying your next EVE Online pack, subscription, or Plex from marqueedragon.com using the link in the video description. Use coupon code BILL at checkout for 3% off your order. I've also got YouTube membership enabled now. It's 99 cents, and for that you'll get access to my monthly video where I go through some of the interesting comments for each month, more of an unscripted rant if I'm honest, and I'm sure I'll have more casual unscripted content available for members too, as and when the mood arises. I really appreciate everyone that already signed up, as it's all helped me invest in the software and hardware I need to keep making better videos.